بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه من والاه. Session number 13 in Seerah al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the life of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, the best of all the lives. We mentioned last time how the mushrikun, the idol worshippers, started taking it violent against the Muslims. But they couldn't do the same with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam because he was from such a noble family and he had, this kind of position. They couldn't do it with him. So they started, he was also supported by Abu Talib, his uncle, even though he was not Muslim. So they started thinking of something else. They make some kind of consultation. What should we do? They decided to follow mufawadat, negotiations. Started negotiations with with his uncle Abu Talib. But it was not like it was like they were challenging him, they were kind of tough on him, but they decided to talk to him first. They came to him the first time. Abu Talib, your nephew is now cursing our gods, is saying bad things about us, about the religion of our fathers. You either take care of him or you give him for us and we take care of him. So Nabi Abu Talib at the beginning, he talked to them softly, and he was kind of, I'll take care of him and don't worry. He was talking softly to them. But he didn't do anything, or he didn't even talk to the Prophet ﷺ. Quraysh, after that, the people, they found no difference. He was doing the same thing. So they decided to come one more time to Abu Talib and say, we come to you, we talk to you, nothing changed. You know how noble you are, you know how we respect you and so on. But if you are not going to stop your nephew, we are going to think of something else. And we are ready to start a war against you until one of us will, either your tribe or our tribe will come to an end. We're ready to take it to that level. So they were kind of challenging him, giving him a warning that we will do something if you're not going to stop it. He came, Abu Talib, talked to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, أبقي علي وعلى نفسك, take it easy, we don't want to take it to that level, and we have our own people fighting against us and so on. ولا تحملني من الأمر ما لا أطيق. Do not, give me what I cannot afford. I cannot take it any more beyond that. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam talked to him in a most decisive way. Somebody who is confident of what he is doing. He said, Wallahi, the very famous word that he said, Wallahi عمي لو وضع الشمس في يميني والقمر في يساري على أن أترك هذا الأمر ما تركته حتى يظهره الله أو أهلك فيه ما تركته أبدا ما أتركه. He said, by Allah, my uncle, if they put the sun on my right hand side, or my right hand, the moon in my left hand, so I leave this, if they do anything that's possible or impossible for me to abandon this, to stop that, I'm not going to do it, even if that equals my death, that equals my end. ثم استعبر وبكى. And then the Prophet ﷺ cried or shed some tears. So Abu Talib started, because this is his son, and he loved him so much, even more than his own children, and he took care of him from a long time ago. Then he started talking to him softly, وقال يا ابن أخي قل ما أحببت فوالله لا أسلمك لشيء أبدا. Say, oh my nephew, say whatever you want, do whatever you want, by Allah, by God, I will never cease supporting you, I will never stop supporting you. Then Quraysh started, they saw it, warning is not working, negotiation not working, so they decided to start offering some silly things actually. One of them was, they decided to bring a very intelligent, handsome boy by the name of Umar ibn al-Walid, Sayyid, the master of the youth of this time, the best young man. And they came to Abu Talib, they said, Ya Abu Talib, see how handsome and intelligent and strong is this boy, Umar, take him, and he will be your son. And give us Muhammad, so we will kill him. It's not like, we give you this and you give us Muhammad. And Abu Talib was so intelligent, he said, والله لبئس ما تسومونني أتعطوني ابنكم أغذوه لكم وأعطيكم ابني تقتلونه. He said, by Allah, how bad is this offer that you're giving me? I give you my son, so you will kill him, or you give me your son, so I take care of him and I feed him and I take care of him, and I give you my son to kill him, that will never happen. Wallahi ma yakun hada. They started, after that, they started taking it some kind of violent against the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Up to this point, they did not do anything like physical or to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. But they failed. Everything they could think of failed. Warning, challenging, all of these things. They continued, and they even were worse in persecuting Muslims, and they started, especially the top or the heads of them, Abu Lahab, Abu Jahl, and all of these guys, Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayt, they started to insult the Prophet ﷺ out, in front of everybody, do certain things, especially his neighbors. They were his neighbors who were leaders in the tribes. They started making hems and lems and making fun of him ﷺ, and even insulting and abusing him ﷺ. And Ubay ibn Khalaf, for example, he said to him in front of everybody, by Allah, I have a horse that I'm feeding it, and I'm getting it ready, so I will kill you on it. Like while riding it, I'll kill you. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Bal ana aqtuluka insha'Allah." Brother, it's rather me who is going to kill you, insha'Allah. And it happened in the day of Uhud. They encountered one another, and it was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam who killed him. Ubay ibn Khalaf, these were the leaders of opponents of Islam. So one day he brought some kind of decayed bones, and he said, and he kind of make it like a powder, crushed it and blow it in front of the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, you claim that your Lord will bring this back to life, will bring it back to life after it decays like this? He said, yes, my Lord is going to bring this back to life, and he is going to bring you, after you die, back to life, and he is going to put you in the hellfire. And he dies as kafir, Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayt. Abu Lahab, it was known how, even though he was his own uncle, from day one he announced his animosity, عداء, ظاهر, واضح, clear to the Prophet ﷺ. Him and his wife, Jamil, Arwa, bint Harb, both of them, they were so violent against the Nabi ﷺ. His wife used to put the thrones and garbage and so on in the way, في طريق النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, in the way of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Surah Tabbat Yada Abi Lahab wa Tab, it's kind of a lot of cursing Abu Lahab and his wife. وَمْرَأَتُهُ حَمَّالَةَ الْحَطَبِ. When she heard about that, أَخَذَتْ كَفًّا مِنْ حِجَارَةٍ. She got a handful of stones, and she went very mad to the Prophet ﷺ. She found, literally what she saw was Abu Bakr is sitting in the Kaaba, around the Kaaba, and she said, where is your friend? By Allah, I heard that he is insulting me, and he is reading some things to insult me and my husband. If I see him, I put all of these stones in his mouth. And Abu Bakr was looking right next to him, and he was looking to her, and he was confused. She's talking to him and asking about the Prophet. Do you know where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He was sitting next to him. She was not able to see him. He said, well, I don't know, or something. Then after she went, she said, Ya Rasulullah, do you think she saw you? He said, by Allah, Allah took her sight. Wallahi laqad akhadha Allahu bi basari. Allah took her eyesight. She was not able to see me. And they were calling the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam bad names like Mudhammam. His name is Muhammad, which means the praised one. The praised one. But they were calling him the dispraised one, Mudhammam. And he was saying sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by Allah, see how Allah is taking all of this insult and bad things and vulgar things they're saying about me. How Allah is taking it away from me. They insult Mudhammam, but I'm not Mudhammam, I'm Muhammad. He was taking it easy, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Abu Jahl was the leader of all of that. Abu al-Hakam or Abu Jahl, that was the leader of Sadd an Sabilillah, to stop people from that and to do every possible thing for the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. And one day he said, you see this man is making sujood, prostrating, praying in front of you like this. Nobody's able to do anything for him. Why don't you go and get some dust or step on his head or something like this? He himself went ahead trying to do so. And when he got all the way to the Prophet ﷺ, he started retreating, going back, and as if he is, something is attacking him. And they said, you were going to do what you suggested to him. What brought you back? He said, by Allah, there was كان خندق من نار بيني وبينه وأجنحة وأهوالا. I saw like a trench of fire between me and him, and I was not able to go any further. There was fire. I saw fire between me and him. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, والله لو دنا مني لا اختطفته الملائكة عضوا عضوا. By Allah, if he come any closer to me, angels would have snatched him an organ by organ like this. Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayt is one of them. One of the nasty things he did one day to the Prophet ﷺ, he saw him praying and he was making sujood, and he brought sala jadur, like the abdominal remaining parts with blood and all of these things of a camel that they recently slaughtered. It's filth. He brought all of that and he put it on the back of the Nabi ﷺ as he was making sujood. He did not move ﷺ until it was Fatima radiallahu anha, his daughter, that came to him, and she was kind of very sad to see her father. This is happening to her father. And she took it off the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they were all laughing and making fun of him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam finished the salah, he started raising his hand and making dua. And they used to, anybody who makes dua in the Kaaba, it was something that's not usual because dua is mustajab, and they know he is a prophet, but they didn't want to follow him. He started making dua. Allahumma alayka bi Quraysh. Allahumma alayka bi fulan wa fulan. He said, oh Allah, take care of such and such, and he named like 7 people, because these were the leaders who were doing all of these things. Oh Allah, take care of them. All the 7 people were killed in the first battle of Badr, between Muslims and non-Muslims. The first encounter that happened, all of them passed away because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna kafaynaka al-mustahzi'in. Some of them even passed away before that. Like his own uncle, he was affected by some kind of epidemic disease that all the way until he died, and they were not even able to come close to him, because if anybody touched him, it was like kind of marad mu'di or kada. They just covered him, and in another narration they put throw stones around him and make grave in his spot. This is how bad was his end. Other people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent some diseases to them, and all of them, the leaders, Al-Aswad ibn Abd Yaruth, Al-Aswad ibn Abd al-Muttalib, Al-Harith ibn Qais, some people who were really so harsh against the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they all died in a very bad way. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam decided to take the group of Muslims to Dar al-Arqam, to this early place of tarbiyah, to take care of the Muslims. It was kind of far away from the eyes of the disbelievers, reciting Quran, teaching them, worshipping, praying with them, and so on, until he went like this for a while, until he would suggest for them to make hijrah to Al-Habasha. They will migrate at the beginning to Abyssinia or Ethiopia nowadays, and we talk about this inshallah in detail. That was even before hijrah to Al-Madinah. 2 times actually it happened. We mentioned the details of these 2 hijrahs of the early Muslims. He was not with them sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he suggested and gave the permission to a few of his companions to go and worship Allah and migrate to certain different places, Abyssinia. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. جزاكم الله خيرا.